In this exercise, I'm going to show you how to create a detail page view for your REST app block. Make sure that you have your worksheet available to you. We're going to use the page type detail. Again, just like the department list and the physicians list, your REST method here is going to be a GET. To explain a little bit further about REST calls, your GET actually pulls information in from the server. So you're just bringing data into the app and you're not doing anything else other than displaying it on the app. You should already be in your REST app block, so let's add a new page and open the wizard. You're going to choose a detail view and click on continue. Your page name here, I'm going to put detail physicians. And the display name here is going to be physician info. Click on save and continue. And go ahead and copy and paste your REST service URL for this page, which is going to be this endpoint here. Paste it directly in and check for variables. You will have a variable here and it is going to be your doc ID. You do have a doc ID available on the list of physicians, but you also have on that list of physicians and in here the department ID. That is going to change a little bit from those pages. So here you will see your variable is doc ID. I do have a doc ID already here for you. Again, you can always copy and paste this into the browser to identify that variable because it should say doc ID next to it. And then paste it in. If you have custom headers, you will include them here, but we do not. Hit send to pull the information, and again, it's going to look very similar to the list view we created earlier. Hit save and continue. And then you can do your data mapping. So because this is a detail view, you can include a lot more information. So you might want your street address. We don't want the doctor icon photo here because that was specifically designed for the list view. So we're going to go down and we're going to continue mapping our data. Departments, if you want to use it, is a long text field. Phone number should be mapped to phone number so that your tap to functionality will work. Your department ID we're not going to use. Your training description is a long text with HTML field. If you're not sure about that, again, just copy and paste it directly into the browser so you can look at the data. If the fields look like they vary in length, or if you can see HTML formatting in them, choose long text with HTML. Again, this is not available on a list view, but it is on a detail view. Email address should be mapped to email address. I don't want my last name on here because that's actually created for search and filter. We'll get to that in another lesson. Your office hours will be long text with HTML. Certifications description is long text with HTML. Your doctor full-size photo is an image, and we do want this because this is going to put the physician's picture on the page. Doctor summary is actually just a long text field. If you choose long text with HTML, that's fine as well. We don't want the first name. The title type is going to be short text. We do want the physician name, which is also a short text field. And the membership's description is a long text with HTML content. Again, in many cases, when you are pulling data in from a server, you might get data that you don't need. So you can map just what you want on the canvas and leave everything else in the data mapping step. If you want it later, just go back into data mapping and enable it. Save and continue. We do have available features here. Because this is a detail view, again, it will tell you exactly what it is and where you can get it. We do have availability for the tap to map, tap to email, and tap to phone because we have a street address, an email address, and a phone number being pulled in through data mapping. However, add to calendar is not available because we don't have a date or date and time field being pulled in from the server. If you want to enable social sharing, which I'm going to show you how to do, you can click Enable. If you don't, you can just choose No Thanks and move on. Click on Save and Continue, and then enable your social sharing. It's a little different here. You will actually get a list of items that you can share. So for my title, I'm going to use the physician name. For my caption, I'm going to use their title. For the description, I'm going to use the doctor's summary. And for the image, I'm going to choose the doctor's full-size photo. If I had a web link available here, that would show up as well, but we do not. Click on Save and Continue, quick review, and then click on Finish. Now you can go in and you can design your canvas. So if you want, you can drag and drop over the doctor's full-size photo. And you can bring over the additional fields for that physician. So if you want to bring over, naturally you're going to want to bring over the physician's name and possibly their title. So I can grab this, stretch it out. I do want to change my text color because I have a darker background. And then I'm going to center it and bold it. And I might make their name a little bit larger. And then I can just adjust the field. Unlike the detail views in our Flex app blocks where you actually have an option to be able to click through and see how everything looks, you don't have that in REST. It only pulls in the sample item that you have chosen. So make sure that you accommodate for the space that's needed for names or information. If the item is mapped as long text with HTML, just keep in mind that that will adjust its size on the screen on its own, but ensure that you don't have any fields that are touching or overlapping, because then that information will just overlap on top of the other fields. I am going to bring over my physician's title here. And for the title, I'm going to do something a little bit different than I did for the name. I am going to change that text color to white. I am going to center it, and I'm going to leave it at the size it's at. So you can make any adjustments that you want from here. And then as you bring additional fields over, such as the departments, if you want, you can just right click and copy the layout, paste it to the new fields as you continue designing your canvas. I'm not going to design the full canvas. I'm going to give you the opportunity to kind of drag and drop the items over and arrange them the way that you would like. The only other thing I want to keep in mind here is I need actions. Now, because we enabled social sharing, I'm going to drag and drop the share item into the nav bar. You can choose a display text by typing in a word. You can use the default, which I am doing, or you can use a custom icon image that you design. Another thing to keep in mind here, you'll notice under actions, is that you'll see an action here to edit an item. You must have a REST call created to be able to edit this particular page. That is a lesson that I'm not going to go over in the training, only because in most cases these REST calls that are being pulled in or out are going to be used on a public-facing app, and you do not want the public to be able to edit your server information. That could be devastating. So once you have your canvas designed, which again, like I said, mine is designed as far as I'm going to go just for the sake of time, I'm going to go back to my list of physicians that we made earlier, and I'm going to connect my list of physicians to the detail view. So to connect the page, I'm going to go to Properties. I'm going to choose my app block, and then I'm going to select my page, which in this case is going to be Detail Physicians. And then I need to choose my field. Now, you will see that it will pull up URL variables for you. In this case, it pulled up Department ID. I do not want to connect the Department ID to the detail page for the physicians. I want the ID here because this is my doctor ID. My Department ID has been called out. It is not uncommon for the JSON to have a little bit of a variance such as that, but in this case, this is the valid ID to use for my set of REST calls. Your REST calls might be a little different. Once I've completed that step, if I go to my home canvas, in an earlier lesson, we had already pointed our physicians to this button on the home screen. If you make a test build, you can download your test build, tap on our doctors. It will go to the folders view, the list of doctors, and then when you choose a doctor, it will go to a detail view.